So yeah, good to see everybody. I know with obviously those initial waves of free agency just wrapping up. Obviously just want to just always give thanks, obviously to our ownership, Ford family, Sheila, thanks to Rod Wood. Dan, obviously we're always in alignment with all these players that we acquire. Our personnel department did an excellent job, led by Rob Lohman. Our coaching staff, and it was a different little process this year because of when the season ended. We had to adjust a few things, in terms of preparation for our free agency this year. But I thought the coaching staff did a great job, extremely helpful. And then, like I said, the rest of our pro personnel department, our football analytics, our football technology, they play a pivotal role in that. And once again, I said it last year, but Brandon Sosna, just once again, I mean, it's been really cool to see his growth in this role. And last year was kind of his first free agency, and I thought he did a phenomenal job. And this year, he knocked it out the park again. So just with all these deals, me and Dan can kind of just communicate with him, just these guys that we're targeting, but Sauce is getting those deals done, and also along with Mike Disner. So as always, just a full collaboration, all hands on deck. And I truly believe this was our best free agency haul that we've had since we've been here. And the reason why I say that is, through our planning and process this year, we have these number one targets, and we literally were able to get every single one of our number one targets that we were out to get. It doesn't always work that way. Sometimes it's like you might strike out on one, you got to go to plan B, or you got to go to plan C. No, we were actually able to land plan A. And even at the corner position, we didn't know if we're going to be able to do both with, doing the Carlton Davis trade and getting Amik Robertson. I thought we were just going to have to be able to pick one or the other, but the way it worked out, just to be able to land both was huge. So that's why I think that to this day, this is our best free agency haul. And we're still not done yet. In terms of targets that are still out there, obviously Josh Reynolds, he's one that was part of the original plans. Still having dialogue. We'll just kind of see where that goes. But that's really the only one that's still out there that we had originally plans to acquire.
How does that set you up for the draft now? Getting all those targets, having to break all the free agency, look at the roster, it just looks like it's kind of set up where you've got a lot of depth, you've got a lot of talent. Is that just like trust you for it?
Yeah, I mean, you guys know us by now. We're just going to pick the best player. I know it's always, everybody wants to, it's needs. We got to get needs. You got to fill needs. You got to, and that's what's, it's a lot of appreciation for our process for free agency, because I did always say about the whole needs train. Free agency is a time to do that. Free agency is a time to pull out the depth chart and start plugging holes and all that kind of stuff. But I just, you guys have heard me talk openly about it. When it comes to the draft, man, you can really make some mistakes when you're trying to reach for a need and you're missing out on really impact players.
You guys got all your number one needs in free agency. Obviously, you didn't know about the Cam situation while you went through that.
Yep.
How do you view the corner situation now going forward? What kind of need is that for you in free agency?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think it was a blessing just for the mere fact that, like I said about the cornerback position, that we were able to land Carlton Davis and Amik Robertson. So I do like the competition that we have. There was a reason why we re-signed Emmanuel Mosley. I know when players are injured the previous year, they're kind of forgotten about when it comes to free agency. So I know it seems like it's kind of been we got Carlton Davis, got Amik Robinson. No, like Emmanuel Mosley, it's the reason why we re-signed him back. We felt really, really good about it. So we really like the competition that we currently have. So we don't really feel like the Cam Sutton situation really altered the landscape of how we approach the draft.
As a quick follow-up, Mosley's coming off back-to-back ACLs.
Yep,
That's kind of
absolutely.
Thing. What's the timetable on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's still on track. The reason why we were confident in re-signing him is because of how we felt with communication with our medical staff in terms. And when he did it last year, that was his first time going through something like that. So I think he's going to even have a better process this time around because he's been through it already once, and he kind of can make whatever tweaks along the way. I'm not saying that he needs to make tweaks, but I think he'll be a lot more comfortable in the rehab process, having already been through it.
Brandon, the free agent, be comfortable with this as you're going into the season, and you don't feel like you need to add it or starting caliber.
Well, like I said, I mean, like I'm not. It's not a need. It's not like, man, if we don't look when it comes to cornerbacks, you never have enough of those guys. Which I can say that with a lot of different positions. So I don't think we've ever went through a draft where we didn't draft one at least. Whether it's a corner or a nickel but I mean. I've always thought it's good business to at least acquire one. But again, you just can never have enough of them.
Free agency feels maybe like a straightforward process. You call the agent, you make the pitch, whether it works out or not. But with the trade, it's a little bit different. Can you maybe just give us a little bit of insight on how the Carlton Davis, offer developed? Was that you reaching out first? Was he put on the block? How did that kind of come to you?
Yeah, it was us reaching out to Jason first about it. We kind of had a sense. I say that, but we kind of had a sense that they were going to be available, that they were going to have some corners available. Obviously, when you get to those players that are, making a certain amount of in salary and coming up on the last year of the deal, and then you look at they had some young players in that secondary that are ascending, so I think it made sense on their part, and obviously we wanted to replenish at that position, so we're just trying to see a guy that we always liked, that you thought that fit our defense. Obviously I've been doing a lot of work on him since he came out of Auburn when I was scouting the Southeast, so just know a lot about him. Felt comfortable with it. Me and Dan did, and I feel like he's going to be a really good fit on our defense. But yeah, just reached out to him again. Didn't know if it was going to be able to come together with all the other things that we wanted to get done in free agency. So it was kind of like, well, it's kind of put on pause for a while, and then it's like, okay, well, let's shift to Amik Robertson, which with Amik was another guy that always had a lot of affinity for coming out of college in the draft process. I knew he's been playing the nickel position majority of his career, but when he slid outside this past year and did an admirable job, it got me even more excited about his fit. And he's another guy that's gritty. He's a pit bull. So I thought I was going to have to shift. Well, let's just target Amik, and not sure if we're going to have the let's call it finances to absorb Carlton Davis' salary. But again, credit to Brandon Sauce and Mike Disner, the planning in that. And so that's when it came back together. And then when you look at how you look at the deals that a lot of these corners were getting during free agency as well, that's why I was like, oh wow, like this thing is getting high now. So I'm glad that we already had plans for the Carlton Davis thing. That's where we're able to kind of just expedite a little bit.
Where you do make that trade last year, the contract, that you're probably weighing all the different futures and options.
Yep.
But like, what is your mindset? Kid's still in his prime, right? Like,
yep.
Do you think extension is part of that process?
Yeah, I just don't think it's a rush for it. Let's get him in here. We'll just see how everything is going, and then we'll just address that at the appropriate time.
Can you just explain a little bit more about how that relationship with Brandon works and the negotiation part of it? I guess, right? You guys say these are the guys we want. How do you determine the right pool?
Yeah, I mean it's a year-round collaborative approach. It really is. I mean, we start on this during the season. Really, just in terms of planning and our process for free agency. But me and Sasna, we just work side by side, man, and just with the communication, the players that we're looking to acquire at all levels, starter level, backup level guys, like talk about, there's a plan A, there's a plan B, there's a plan C, and it's just consistent communication. And that's the great thing about Brandon, man, he's about an elite communicator as I've been around, and he's a grinder, and he's a grinder just like I am, just like a lot of guys in our building is. And so it's just that communication, collaboration year round, where it's at a point Brandon almost pretty much kind of has a very good feel of, what we're thinking already. So he's very proactive in that sense, but that's pretty much how it works. And we just kind of constantly meet, constantly communicate. And then, he just kind of closes the deals.
Maybe have a number in mind, range for a starter.
Yep.
Backup, and then it's about filling it.
Yes, absolutely.
What do you like about Kevin Zeitler and how that deal came together?
Man, so that was another one. Obviously, we were initially in the Jonah game really before the season started, and couldn't get anything done, and then we were in it to a point at the year. But man, when we played the Ravens and saw how much of a high level that Zeitler was playing, I was like, wow. But you never know when guys get to that age, how long is it going to last. And so when it got to the end of the season, we really started diving into those targets and looked at him again. And I was like, wow, no, he sustained that for the whole season. And he's a guy that he just fits like a glove for what we're about. He plays the game how we want to play it. He fits the identity of what we're all about. And so, again, he was another one of that, we weren't sure, we wanted to get Glasgow and him as that was the plan A. And to be able to get both of them, we were just thrilled with, and again, just can't wait for him to get rolling in the offseason program, but it's going to be a great fit.
This roster you built, Brad, it's difficult to find where you could draft a kid that could start right away. Like even last year, you could see where Gibbs and Campbell and Branch could fit. Is it valuable in any way where you don't have to force these draft picks into early playing time, and you can take that more traditional, developmental path with them?
Yeah, and honestly, I think that's where you want to be at. Honestly, I remember back when I was in LA, we had got to that point where even with not even having first round or second round picks, still you pick an offensive lineman in the third round, that's you expect that guy to play, relatively early. And we were able to do, I think that was Joe Noteboom's year where, still had Whitworth and Havenstein, but selected Noteboom, and we weren't depending on him to play anytime soon. And that's where you want to be in your roster, where, you're picking guys, whether it's even at pick 29 or, on day 2, you're picking guys that if he plays, he plays. I mean, that's really how it was last year with, Brian Branch. We had signed CJ to be the nickel. We felt good at safety at that point. Branch was just the best player that we wanted, and we're like, I don't know if he's going to play or not. We'll see how it goes, and kind of the same thing at linebacker, at inside linebacker. We felt really good about, obviously we had Anzalone, and we felt good about Derek Barnes' development. Jack was just the best player at that point for us, and we selected him. We didn't know how much he was going to start. So that's kind of how we operate. So again, I know it's always like, oh, there's a need, man, let's get this need. You don't know how that rookie is going to really develop. We try to do the best we can. I feel very confident in our process in forecasting that stuff. But at the end of the day, man, it's hard to bank on that stuff.
You talked about cornerbacks, but with DJ, some of the other additions made on defense, how much better do you think that side of football is?
Yeah, I think with DJ, again, another guy that, through that process, the plan A target for us. I just think that he's going to make not only just DJ in itself, he's a great player, and he's going to bring so much to our defense. He's going to make so many other things better as well. So to have, look, sometimes it always gets lost of our eyes can get numb to our own players, and I'm not saying us, but, look, everybody doesn't have an Aiden Hutchinson on the edge. Everybody doesn't have an Aleem McNeil. So everyone doesn't have, again, when players are hurt, talking about the Emmanuel Mosley thing, when a player gets hurt, the player's forgotten about. everyone doesn't have even a James Houston, that's obviously everybody was really excited about after he had all those sacks as a rookie, and then now he's hurt, and it's like, well, James Houston in on our roster. No, yes, he is. So he's coming back as well with a Marcus Davenport. So to add a Reader with the mix of all those other guys, I think it's going to make things so much better. And I think what people get kind of lost is that his run defense, which is I think is elite, and I think it's just at a whole nother level among a lot of these other guys. But the pass rush really is what really sold me. Like the run defense, like yeah, he can do that, but there's athleticism down in there where he can catch edges and push the pocket and harass the quarterback as well, and he plays hard. So again, I can't talk enough about Reader. You guys obviously got a chance to speak with him. Great human being, and yeah, there's no Greensboro bias even with me. I know he's a Greensboro guy, but yeah, I think he's going to open up so many things on our defense.
Having a
Make
lean
us better.
together
Yeah.
potentially be pretty special.
Yes. I think it's funny just talking to his agent at the combine, just kind of having that meeting, and he's yeah, and I think he would like playing with Aiden Hutchinson. I said we got to lean Neal too. And he was like, whoa. Oh, and I was like, yeah, it's so a lot of high expectations. We'll just see how it goes.
I got a draft question for you.
Yep.
Fans ask us all the time, they like to track where you go for pro days and things.
Yeah.
You go to Alabama pretty much every year.
Yeah.
Like you weren't at Michigan, or at least it wasn't before you were at Michigan this year. Can you just explain again, like how you pick which ones you go to, what the rhyme or reason is, I guess.
Yeah, and I try to make Michigan every year. It's right down the road. It's just that this year in particular, because Michigan was the same week as Alabama, and I knew I was going to hit Alabama, the way that our meetings were scheduled, I just wasn't able to make Michigan this year. But I don't really go to a whole lot of them. I just don't have time to go to a lot of them. But it's just we're very intentional, but also it's a credit to our staff. We just really we have coverage at every single pro day, often multiple people there. So I feel confident in that. But when I feel like there's case in point, Michigan, I went to my first Michigan Ohio State game this year, which was awesome. So I was able to see those players live. I don't really need to see a player working out to confirm. There's some things you can check off, but for Alabama, I didn't get a chance to see Alabama. I didn't get a chance to see an Alabama game this past year. So they had a lot of prospects, obviously. So that's why I made the decision to go to Alabama. But that's kind of what goes into the decision-making process.
First guy who read a lot more risks in terms of durability, taking chances on maybe guys with chips on their shoulder last year. Cam and David, it was more stable, durable veterans. More risk this year with BJ and bringing back a new team in. Like, how does risk factor in and change at all as the success level of your team changes and expectations of your team change?
Yeah, I mean, look, if you're playing football, it's always a risk. I mean, there's so much luck involved with injuries. As long as you're playing football, there's always risk of again. Look at Emmanuel Mosley. I mean, what happened? He had bad luck. So what's hard for us is to say, you know what, man, we're not that excited about this player, but he hadn't missed any time. And so he hadn't missed any time. So let's add this player. He's okay. But he hadn't missed any. Where it's, man, when you're playing 17 games of football, that's inevitably gonna happen, and that's why we're so big. And you guys have heard me talk about it all the time, man. Like, look, you can add that one player in March. You can add the one player and you feel really good about it, man. When no football's happening, man, it's March, April. Oh man, you feel good, man. Look at this black and white name on a depth chart with no football being played. But when we acquire these players, I'm thinking about, man, what's it going to look like October, November, December? Like, what's it look like? It's going to look different. So I I don't really look at it as if a player's missed time. Oh, there's a risk. Now look, we do the best we can. If there's like major time miss over and over, and then yes, obviously we're going to be rational. We're going to be smart. Like we're going to be like, okay, all right. It's evident that this guy's he's repeatedly missed season after season, bulks of the season, but the guy misses, some games here and there. Man, it's football, man, and that's why you construct the roster how you construct it. So that's my view, and I know that's a big. I know in the past, Dave, you kind of got on me about, not got on me, but you know what I mean, like, so selecting defensive linemen that had something medically, and it's like, look, man, we don't acquire players and say, man, I can't wait, man, I'm so glad we got this player. And he's not going to be available. Like, no, that's not what we do. It's the intent is that he is going to be available, and we have a great medical staff. Obviously, you guys all know it's a big overhaul we did recently, but those guys do a really good job.
Yeah, you just kind of crush that cliche.
Yeah, availability is important. It is. It's important, but what I'm saying is, it's hard to. We are rational, we are smart about the availability piece. But again, when you're playing football, there's risk either way. Whether he missed 3 games the previous year or a player missed 0 games. Just because a player missed 0 games the previous year doesn't mean that he's not going to miss any games the following season. So if you're picking between the two, why would you pick the player you're less excited about because he missed. He didn't miss 3 games last year. You don't really like the player, but you're not excited. But he didn't miss any time. That doesn't guarantee that that's not going to happen. So that's how I look at it.
What's it been like watching this roster evolve over the years from when you first got here to kind of where it is now?
To say that one more
It's
time.
been like watching the roster evolve over the years from where it was when you first got here to where it is now.
I guess I feel like we're on track. It could be argued that we're a little ahead of schedule. But I just I guess that's a hard question, kind of hard for me to answer because the job never stops. Evolving and adding it and upgrading the roster is just a year-round endless task and journey. So I really never really step back and look at, like, oh man, because I don't really catch a breath of fresh air. Like, all right, the roster's good. No, it's like, I think I've told y'all in the past, I don't care how good it ends up being. We could have every single starter is a Pro Bowl. It's never, this league is too hard to take your foot off the gas and never get complacent. So I'm glad that it's improved every year. And I think we did that again this year in this, free agency so far. And we're going to get better after this draft as well. So hopefully we can stay to that course and keep improving and keep upgrading. I know that we're better today than when we were when we ended the season this past season. And so we'll keep sticking to that, but it's a good question because I never really stop and take a look at it. I just keep my head down and keep rolling.
Couple more guys.
You signed the CFL pass rusher. There's a cornerback that's in the draft this year from the CFL.
Yep.
Can you just explain the process of scouting that league? A, and then B, like, what's the level of football? I mean, how much can those guys sort of come in and make an impact?
Yeah, that's a fair question. Obviously, our pro department does a great job. Rob, Justin, Joe, Blake, all those guys, and just to make sure that those leagues are covered, not only the CFL, but all those spring leagues as well. And always make sure that we're abreast on the windows of when you can bring guys in to work out. Those windows are very specified as well. So we do a great job of staying on top of that and making sure that who the top players are. And but yeah, you do look at it and take like Betts, right? Like we brought him in for a workout. He had a good workout. Obviously had a lot of production. And but you look at the competition, and it's not the same as what he's going to be facing at this level. So you got to keep that in mind as well. So with all the production he has now, the thing about him is that, man, that guy plays hard. So he plays like how we want to play. And obviously with all that production, let's go just take a shot and see where it goes. But yeah, you got to look at the level of competition. It's just different, but that's not any different than a small school guy coming out in the draft. And you want to see those small school guys come out of the draft play in a Senior Bowl or an East-West game, and when they don't do that, you got to really do your work. And we've gone through some exercises. I don't even want to get into the details, but we've gone through some exercises that you probably call it's pretty crazy what we've done. Yep. Yeah. There's a way. Look, I'll say this. There's a way where you can find the answers to the test, and get your questions answered. But you got to really dive deep. I keep it as that.
Biggest lesson you learned from these guys that helped you successful?
Yeah. Obviously, my mom, she just always just kind of taught me, you get what you deserve, and you're never gonna, be given anything, and you gotta just keep working. And obviously seeing her in the educational field, working late nights on grants and proposals, and seeing how, she was doing that work that nobody saw, that really taught me a lot of, just make sure that you keep doing the work. And nobody has to see the work. You don't have to advertise what you're doing, and you're always going to get what you deserve. And she was always very black and white of, you do this, you will get this. If you don't do that, you won't get that, period. And that's really bold well for me. See you, Dan, trying to get me emotional, man. It's good. It's a good
I
one.
remember too when you took the job.
Yeah.
One of the things you said was, "I told my mom, I think I can help there."
Yeah.
What's that conversation mean to you now?
Oh, it just by the grace of God that has come to fruition and come to light, and the work's not done. So we're just gonna just keep climbing. But obviously, she's the biggest fan. The men of support. Our wins are her wins, and so I think I told her that the other day. So I'm just extremely proud and glad that she was able to come to her first owners meetings, here in Orlando. Obviously, was raised in Tampa, so it was a quick drive over. But yeah, just glad that she's able here to support.
One more, guys. One housekeeping matter. You went through this last year with Dave Sears' departure, and it's Newmarket this year. Just wondering what's your times over there, and maybe what challenges have you faced when you lose somebody that high up in your cabinet, if you will, during this process?
Yeah, those are tough ones, man. Like again, like you said, losing Dave, that was hard. That was a little bit of a blow there. And then losing Lance back to back, I was like, whoa. So again, it opened up opportunities for others to step up, and I still have all the confidence in the world of our current staff right now. But in terms of just kind of filling his role or addressing any staff changes, we'll do all that after the draft if needed.